My wife died while cheating, so I skipped her funeral, left my abusive stepdaughter penniless. Hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. My wife died while she was cheating on me, and because of that I skipped her funeral, deliberately left my abusive stepdaughter broke, and took back everything I had given her. I'm Jack, 32, running an import-export business in Detroit that I built from scratch after busting my ass for 5 years on cargo ships. These days, I'm pulling in a 7-figure income yearly, importing top-quality olive oils and wines from all over Greece. I'm not trying to brag. But what I'm about to tell you is connected to the chaos that's become my life. 6 years ago, I met Jessica at a wine expo in Athens. She was 35, a marketing director for a fancy hotel chain, and incredibly gorgeous. Literally, the kind of woman who turns heads the moment she steps into a room. She approached me at my booth, complimented my assertion wine selection, and we ended up talking for 3 hours straight. She was sharp, funny, and genuinely seemed interested in my business philosophy, which, looking back, I should have been suspicious of but wasn't. Within the first hour, she told me about her rough divorce and that she was starting fresh but her eyes had this hypnotic pull that clouded my judgment. She had a 14-year-old daughter, Lisa. When Jessica introduced us, her daughter didn't even bother to look up from her phone. Whatever, I thought teenagers are like that. We dated for 8 months. Jessica subtly pushed for us to get more serious, hinting about stability for Lisa and criticizing her unreliable ex for not supporting her financially. She'd cook fancy dinners at my place, always mentioning how Lisa would do so much better with a stable, 2-parent family. The sex was incredible. She knew exactly how to keep me hooked, and I was completely addicted. Whenever a doubt crept in, she'd do that thing with her tongue that made my brain completely shut off. We got married in Santorini. Her idea, her money. €50, €0 for a wedding with 200 of her closest friends and family. I had maybe 20 people there, and now I see that should have been the first sign. Exactly 2 months after the wedding, her sex drive just vanished. It didn't slow down, it stopped, like someone flipped a switch. Suddenly, she'd say she was exhausted from work or had migraines or was worried about Lisa overhearing us. Our intimacy dropped from daily to maybe once a month, and even then she seemed like she was doing me a favor. And Lisa. Oh man, she turned into an absolute nightmare the second that ring was on Jessica's finger. The girl would barge into my home office mid-call, blast music, spill wine on my laptop, or steal money from my wallet, then cry to her mom that I promised her that money. Jessica's response was always the same. She's traumatized from the divorce. You need to be patient. You're the adult here. I knew I was being played, fully aware of it, but I convinced myself it'd get better. I'd built this life, this image of success, a beautiful wife, a big house and a thriving business. I paid for everything. I even sent Lisa to Anatolia College for €25, €0 a year, watching her struggle through failing classes, going to therapy twice a week, talking about how I was an idiot. I kept a spreadsheet of everything. Her wardrobe, latest iPhones, trips to with her friends, all on my dime. 3 years ago, Jessica started working late, claiming her hotel had important clients from Dubai and Russia who needed entertainment. I wasn't stupid, meaning I knew what entertainment meant in her line of work. But she always came back, had receipts, and colleagues vouched for her. Still, those girls' trips to Crete, Athens, they were always somewhere with beaches and clubs. She'd come back tired but invigorated, always with a new lingerie set I never saw her wear. That's when I finally stopped being a victim. Last month, I made the sharp move I should made years ago. I hired a private investigator. Best €5, €0 I've ever spent. His name was. He's a personal trainer at Olympic Fitness age 28, ex-military, looks like a Greek god in a CrossFit poster. The pie brought back photos. Jessica's in hotels not even discreetly, meeting in the parking lot or driving to some resort late nights at his apartment downtown, over Year of them messing around. And here's the kicker, I hadn't confronted her yet. Why? Because I'd been busy liquidating assets, restructuring companies, creating new accounts in secret. In Greece, divorce law is messy. She could claim half of everything she or I had acquired during the marriage. But if assets are tied up in bad investments or exist only on paper, judges can't divide what isn't there. I've documented every bit: receipts, her refusals for intimacy, girls' trips, late nights, everything in spreadsheets and videos. My lawyer Topin says I have enough to bury her in court. Tomorrow she's headed to our villa in for her latest girls' weekend, but I know requested time off from the gym. They'll be in my house, in my bed, the one I paid for in the house I built, and probably laughing about how pathetic I am. They're right, I've been pathetic, but that stops now. I already filed the divorce papers and she'll be served at the villa. The locks on my apartment are already changing while she's gone. Everything is legal, solely in my name. Her credit cards, canceled at midnight. The BMW she drives, reported stolen because it's in my company's name, not hers. Lisa's tuition next semester. Not my problem. That apartment near the university. Lease ends next month, not renewing. I'm done being her ATM. I'm done pretending this marriage can be salvaged. Some people will say I'm cruel, that I should think of the kid, that I should be the bigger person. Screw that. I've been the bigger person for 6 years, eating dirt with a smile while they treat me like an invisible bank. I paid to be disrespected in my own home. No more. 3 hours after I posted this story, she just texted me from the road. Traffic's bad. Baby, might be late, don't wait up. Yeah, I won't be waiting, I'll be at my lawyer's office making sure everything's airtight. Quick update, she just called again. There's been an accident, I need to go. Second update, she's dead. I still can't process it. 2 hours after that last message, police called. Single vehicle crash on the highway. Her BMW wrapped around a tree. She died instantly, never felt a thing. But here, the messed up part, she wasn't alone. I drove to the hospital on autopilot, racking through feelings I couldn't even identify: grief, relief, guilt, anger that she died before I could divorce her. At the hospital, they pulled me aside, saying her passenger survived with minor injuries, cuts, bruises, possible concussion. The police told me his name, and there he was laying in ICU, looking like a Greek god, now rotting in a bed, wrapped in bandages. Nurses told me they brought him in underdressed, just gym shorts and sandals, because he was high on painkillers and adrenaline. The second he saw me, his eyes widened. He started babbling apologies, calling me brother, saying it wasn't what I thought. He blurted out that Jessica told him I couldn't satisfy her anymore, that I knew about their affair. I stared at him, this pathetic boy in a hospital bed, probably sticky with my wife's juices, and he tried to explain why he was seeing her in my car. How long? I asked. 14 months, he whispered. Longer than I'd thought, longer than the pie had caught. Were there others? I looked away. That was enough answer. I left without another word. What would been the point? She was dead, and he was just another guy, one out of many, apparently, who'd left her while I paid for her life. The doctor called me to identify her body. I didn't want time to prepare, I just wanted to see her. She looked small. The woman who dominated my life for 6 years, who made me feel like I wasn't enough. I saw a broken body on a slab. She died instantly, probably didn't feel a thing. The crash was at 140H, no skid marks. She'd never tried to brake. I signed the papers. They asked about funeral plans, and I told them I'd think about it. As I got ready to leave, Lisa stormed in, 20 years old, dressed like she was heading to a club, fake eyelashes and all. Her eyes snapped when she saw me, and she started screaming. "This is your fault. You drove her to this," she yelled. "She was miserable because of you." I let her scream. I let her make a scene in the lobby. Security seemed ready to step in, but I waved them off. When she finally ran out of breath, she threw in her demand: "You need to handle the funeral. Mom would want something beautiful, and I'll need money for everything." That's when I lost it. Not violently. I snapped like a rubber band stretched too tight. All this tension just burst free. I looked at her and said, "No," plain and simple. "What do you mean no? You were her husband," she spat back. "That's past tense now. I'm done with her, with you, with pretending this was some family." I turned and walked out, ignoring her screeches about responsibilities and reputation. Got into my car, my personal car, not the company she'd been eyeing, and drove home. She was still yelling as I left. It's been 24 hours. I haven't picked up my phone. It's ring after ring. Her family, her friends, Lisa leaving unhinged voicemails calling me a monster. The funeral home called more demands. I gave them Lisa's number instead. My lawyer called too, wanted to know if this changed anything about the asset structure. I told him no, that it actually sped things up because I realized I'm free. She died cheating, probably still inside another man, and I shouldn't have to mourn her or pay for her funeral. Tomorrow I'll cancel every card, any automatic payments tied to her, the apartment near the university. I'll send eviction notices. The bills for her family's phones. Done. I'm finished being her wallet. I'm not even sad more. Like a weight has been taken off my shoulders. Is it messed up? My wife of 6 years is gone and all I feel is lighter. Like I was carrying a boulder on my back and someone finally knocked it loose. The Greek Orthodox Church says I should forgive, honor her memory, care for her daughter. I say to hell with their teachings. Update. Lisa just posted on Instagram a photo of her and Jessica with some sob story about losing her best friend and with a link to a GoFundMe. Goal: €20, €0 for her funeral and to get back on her feet. She raised only €500 in 2 hours. Good luck with the rest. Another update: my lawyer called. Her secret account with €200, €0, frozen under investigation. Turns out Jessica was smarter than I thought. She was planning to leave and that money was hers, illegally siphoned. I looked into her clothes, shoes, bags. I've already sold some, made €20, €0. Burned some of the wedding photos in my fireplace, drinking a satisfying asserting from my private stock. People keep saying I should feel guilty, regret losing her. No chance. The only thing I regret is that I didn't see the cheating sooner, didn't trust my instincts. But I don't regret doing what I should done all along. Stopping the victim game, protecting myself, valuing my worth over deadbeat partners and liars. Last night, I went to a wine bar alone in Leeds. Ordered a bottle of exquisite Greek wine, enjoyed it quietly. No one asking for a sip, no one complaining I work too much, no one pretending to listen while they're texting someone else. The owner, Maria, a woman my age, struck up a chat about wine, the terroir, the art of importing. We talked for 2 hours. She gave me her card, said she'd love to feature some of my imports. For the first time in years, I went home feeling hopeful. Jessica is dead, Lisa is someone else's problem, and that leeching family has been cut off. I'm finally free. Update, just texted. The cemetery is demanding €20, €0 more or they'll exhume Jessica and move her somewhere cheaper. I responded with a thumbs up emoji. Another update, my accountant just called. The cryptocurrency account Jessica hid holds another €50, €0. Turns out she was clever, just not clever enough to avoid wrapping her BMW around a tree. And my final update 6 months later. That's how long she's been feeding worms and I've been living my best life. I wasn't planning to share this again, but it's been a wild ride, so here's how it ends. My business is booming. My website exposing her lies has turned into the best marketing I never planned. Greek businessmen now respect me, honestly. I've signed 3 huge distribution deals and opened a second warehouse. Maria and I are together, just not living under the same roof. She owns 3 wine bars now, showcasing my imports exclusively. We're partners in both business and the bedroom, and she actually contributes, unlike Jessica. Last month we went to Santorini, stayed at the same hotel where I married Jessica, just to exorcise that ghost. Maria suggested we make better memories, and we did, repeatedly, on the balcony where I proposed to that parasite. And the real kicker, the universe decided to serve me one more dish of justice. Remember Jessica's trainer, the guy who wrapped her BMW around a tree? He reached out last week, not directly of course, but through a mutual acquaintance who owns a gym equipment company I work with. He's freaking ruined. No gym in Greece will take him now. His reputation's destroyed, famous for wrecking marriages. He tried online training, but my website outranks him. He moved to Cyprus for a fresh start. Failed there too when his client's husband recognized him and beat him bloody. Now he's back in Greece, living with his parents, working construction for €40 a day. From a Greek god who used to flex in mirrors. Now he's carrying bricks because his spine is wrecked from that crash. Medical bills are over €50, €0, and his insurance won't cover the treatments he needs. His parents are farmers, they can't afford it. So he swallowed his pride and asked for a loan, me, that is. The man who left my wife for 14 months wants me to cover his surgery. I agreed just to see how far he's fallen. We met at a coffee shop in Larissa, and he looked terrible, abs vanished, replaced by a soft belly and faded clothes. He started begging, saying he's desperate, that he can't work construction much longer. I let him talk, then took out my phone, showed him a picture of Maria and me on a yacht we just bought. Champagne, wealth, success, all that he's lost. This is my life now, no lies, no betrayal, no parasites draining me. He broke down crying, an ex-military guy reduced to tears in a simple coffee shop because he's broke. I told him, "You left my wife in my house, in my bed with my money, cracking jokes about how I'm a pathetic provider. I was wrong, you're an investment gone bad." I left him sobbing into his. And like that wasn't enough karma for one day, 3 days ago, Lisa came back, via lawyer this time. She's suing me for emotional damages and unlawful eviction, claiming I owe support as her guardian, and that publishing her criminal activities ruined her chances. Her lawyer demanded €100, €0, or they'll take me to court. I laughed so hard Maria thought I was losing it. My lawyer's response: a single sheet listing all her crimes, her theft, her expulsion from college, her confession of stealing €130, €0, and my counterclaim for damages. That case dropped within 24 hours, but what's hilarious? Lisa can't even afford her lawyer anymore. She convinced him to work on contingency, promising a big payday. Now she owes him €5, €0, she's broke. Last I heard, she's living with a 45-year-old tourist shop owner near Hokkaido, working as a cashier, giving up her youth just like her mom did. And the cherry on top, that villa inn where Jessica died was up for sale. I've been trying to unload it for months because every corner reminds me of betrayal. A Russian oligarch bought it too. 4 million cash, closed yesterday. As I signed the papers, he said, "In Russia, when a woman dies during whoring, it's divine justice. You're lucky." Lucky. Jessica's fate sealed her true nature. She showed her face before taking half. That first wife of mine, she waited 20 years, cost me an oil refinery. Now I toast with vodka worth more than Lisa's annual salary. Walking out of that office, €4 million richer, I felt the last weight lift. That villa was the lid on that past life. Now it's cash, funding my plans to expand globally. Maria met me afterward and I told her about the whole mess, from begging me for money to Lisa's failed lawsuit and about the Russian's toast. She looked at me and asked, "How do you feel?" I smiled and said, "Like I won. Not because they're suffering, but because I'm thriving despite their best efforts to ruin me." She raised her glass. The best revenge is a life well lived with someone who adds value, not takes it. We headed to her place, celebrated properly, honest, open, no secrets. Just real connection with someone who wants me for me, not my money. This morning I woke up in my apartment, my place, and for the first time in years I felt peace. No fear of theft, no lying, no checking for secret withdrawals. Business is strong, parasites are gone, and the truth is out there for anyone who looks. And Jessica, exactly where she belongs, dead, in a grave her family can barely afford, remembered not as a devoted wife and mother, but as a serial cheater who died with another man's in her. Poetic justice, huh? Update. Lisa just tried to add me on LinkedIn. I blocked and reported her without hesitation. Found out my accountant uncovered another €50, €0 in crypto from Jessica's secret account. She was smarter than I thought. Not smart enough to avoid her BMW crash, but still. 6 months later, I'm still living my best life. Didn't plan to update, but the past week has shown me I should share the ending. Business is booming. My website exposing her lies is free marketing, and Greek businessmen respect someone who doesn't take shit. I signed 3 major deals, opened another warehouse. Maria and I are not living together. Smart move after what I've been through, but we're close. She owns 3 wine bars and every one features my imports. We traveled to Santorini, exorcised that ghost, and made new memories. The universe threw me one last gift. The trainer reached out. Not directly, but through a mutual friend who owns a gym equipment company I work with. He's wrecked. No gym in Greece will hire him now, reputation in ruins. He tried online training but was outperformed by my website. He moved to Cyprus to start fresh but failed when a client's husband recognized him and beat him bloody. He's back in Greece, living with his parents doing construction for €40 a day. Once a god, now carrying bricks, his spine shattered from that crash. Over €50, €0 in medical bills. No insurance covers the treatments he needs. His parents, farmers, broke. He swallowed his pride and asked me for a loan, wanted me to pay for his surgery. I didn't do it out of kindness. I went just to see how far he'd fallen. We met at a Larissa. He looked terrible, abs gone, replaced by a soft belly and faded clothes. He begged, "Jack, I need this surgery. The pain's constant, I can't do construction anymore." I let him yap, then showed him a photo. Maria and me on our yacht, champagne in hand, wealth, success, independence. That's my new life. No lies, no deceit, no parasites. He started crying, this former military man reduced to tears in a cafe because he's broke. I told him, "You left my wife in my house, in my bed with my money, laughing at me for being a weak provider. I was wrong, you're a terrible investment." I walked away, leaving him sobbing. And karma, it's not done. 3 days ago, Lisa popped back, this time via lawyer. She's suing me for emotional damages and wrongful eviction, claiming I owe support for her as a guardian and that I destroyed her future by publishing her crimes. They want €100, €0 or court. I laughed so hard Maria thought I was losing it. My lawyer sent over a document, lists of her crimes: theft, her expulsion, her confession, damages to my business. They dropped the case overnight. But here's the kicker. Lisa can't even afford her lawyer anymore. The lawyer's working on contingency, promising her a payday. When she saw she'd get nothing, she owes €5, €0, and now she's broke. Last I hear, she's living with a 45-year-old shop owner near Hokkaido, working as a cashier, trading her youth for rent just like her mom did. And that villa, I finally sold it. A Russian oligarch bought it too, 4 million cash. The day I signed, he said, "In Russia, when a woman dies during whoring, it's divine justice. You're lucky." Lucky, I finally saw her true face before she took half. My first wife. She waited 20 years, cost me an oil refinery. Now I toast with vodka more expensive than Lisa's yearly salary. Walking out of that office, richer by €4 million, I felt an enormous weight lift. That villa was the last link to that past life. Now it's profit funding my global expansion. Maria met me afterward and I told her the whole story, from begging me for money to Lisa's failed lawsuit and the Russians' toast. She looked at me and said, "How do you feel?" I smiled and said, "Like I've won. Not because they're suffering, honestly, I don't care about their suffering, but because I'm thriving despite their best efforts to bring me down." She raised her glass. The best revenge is a life well lived, with someone who brings value instead of taking. We went to her place and celebrated. No secrets, no hidden phones, no headaches, just honest connection. This morning I woke up in my apartment feeling peaceful. No worries, no checking accounts, no doubts, just peace. 6 months ago, I thought my life was over. My wife was gone, her family was attacking me, and social media hated me. But now, I'm with a brilliant woman, my business doubled in value, I've started boxing, great therapy, and my bank account is fuller than ever. The parasites, completely gone, carrying bricks with a ruined spine. Lisa, trying to rent herself out. Jessica's family, blocked. Some folks might say I'm cold, that I should have mercy. But I say, screw mercy. Justice is divine, and sometimes the best way to serve it is to see people suffer the full consequence of their choices. Jessica chose to cheat, steal, and plan to ruin me. She died in a car I paid for with a man. She cheated with her own poetic justice. Lisa played her part, treating me like trash, then trying to sue me. She's now Korean food to an older man, and their cycle repeats, just not on my dime. I chose to stop being a victim to protect myself and to value my worth over their lies. That choice has led me to a life better than anything I ever had attached to them. And if you're out there being used, cheated, or drained, listen up. You owe them nothing. No money, no forgiveness, no suffering. Cut them loose. Build something better from the ruins. The best revenge. Living your life at a champagne temperature in a crystal flute, celebrating your freedom with someone who truly deserves you. I'm out.